Hi everybody and welcome to a special Pink Fog Trans in Spain on the road. Of course, I'm in a holiday resort in Spain. Can you guess where it is with all these built up buildings and hotels? You can see the sun's just going down behind me before I go out for a night out. Special occasion because I'm meeting a tea girl from the UK for the first time. She comes over twice a year for about a week and a half, and we tried to get in touch with her last October, but for some reason we couldn't quite make it. But we've made the hour and 40 minutes journey up the coast to Benidorm to meet her. So yes, this is Benidorm, and all I can hear at the moment are insects, crickets. I don't know whether you can hear that in the distance. I don't know how good that is. You catch it on the microphone. But anyway, hopefully she'll agree to be shown on video and photograph. And if she is, then we'll put the video out on here. So here's from me signing off, and hopefully this will be a success tonight. Looking forward to a few glasses of wine and maybe a bit of dancing and singing. So watch this space. Hi everybody and welcome to Pink Fog Trans in Spain. If you've not been here before, obviously I'm Carla and welcome to my YouTube channel, my podcast. Please click like if you've watched it, and please subscribe if you can. I'd love to as many of you to watch these as possible. I'm hopefully gonna put these on every week, and if you've got any ideas what I can talk about, please let me know. Okay, first of all, as you can see from, I hope it worked anyway, the video at the start. I've been in Benidorm about a few months ago. A trans girl in the UK said she was coming over in March. We've been in contact via Facebook and everything. Nikki, her name is, and I decided, well, I'll come over and say hello to you for a couple of nights. And Penny, my friend, came over with me, and a couple of nights last week we came to Benidorm. Not the old town where we normally go, where Pride is, but the new town, and all that goes with it. And I'm going to explain exactly what happened. Well, not exactly, because that will be telling. But anyway, those of you who have heard about Benidorm or have never been before, have heard about Benidorm. I would like to say it's not what you expect, but it is what you expect. It was pretty lively, just to say the least. The first night we arrived on the Thursday afternoon, and we met Nikki and her friend Carol in a bar. Probably if you've been to Benidorm before, you may know some of the main bars there, but this was called Talk of the Town, and we met them there, and it was very, very busy. In fact, it was standing room only at the start. It got a little bit quieter later on. I'd never been there before, and I'll hold my hand on my heart and say I've never fancied going there before, but we went. Nikki loves it, and you could tell because she really enjoyed it, and it was lovely to meet her. The only problem was that it was band after band after band after band, and we couldn't speak an awful lot. We got there the Jersey Boys. When we see the Jersey Boys do a lot of stuff around here anyway, and there are so many different incarnations of the Jersey Boys. So this one was a slightly older version of the Jersey Boys. I mean, they are getting on a bit now, aren't they? So we got there just as they were on, and there followed an Elvis tribute. Now, where have I heard that before? In fact, if you come round where I live in Orwell Costa on a Friday or a Saturday night, if you go onto my rooftop terrace, solarium, you can usually hear a Elvis impersonator somewhere in one of the bars blasting out their usual stuff. So, of course, I was a bit in trepidation of Elvis. Anyway, I'll move on from that. I was glad to see that the Bee Gees were cancelled and they put UB40 on, a UB40 tribute band. Now, a few years ago in Torrevieja, which is about 20 minutes from here, UB40 came on, the Ali Campbell version. There's two versions. So it's Ali Campbell with Astro. Rest in peace, Astro. He's no longer with us. But to me, that's the proper version of UB40, and we saw them in Torrevieja. But this time, this was a tribute band, and they played lots of ska, lots of UB40 stuff, and it was quite enjoyable. and ended the night with the Beatles tribute band. I was absolutely shattered, and sometime after midnight, I decided the Beatles were too much for me. Coming from Liverpool, if you've ever been to Liverpool, you'll find there's a lot of Beatles tribute bands, especially at the old Matthew Street Festival. Beatles bands were everywhere. One year I went, well, one year, more than one year I went to the Cavern, but this one particular year, the best Beatles tribute band I've ever seen, strangely enough, were called the Japanese Beatles. I kid you not, they were the absolute best Beatles tribute band I've ever seen. Um, these weren't quite as good, but I didn't stay long enough to get the full hit. Anyway, we had a lovely night, and we vowed the following night that we'd go somewhere a little bit quieter to get to know each other. Anyway, the following night we met a little bit earlier, and we went back to our hotel. There was a football match on, and we sat and we chatted all night. And Nikki was lovely. She's a gorgeous looking girl, and she comes over twice a year, and we've invited her over to here. So I'm hoping at some stage she'll come and stay around our area and come for a couple of nights, and we'll show her our sites. Not quite the same as Benidorm, but then where is? So Nikki, if you're watching, make sure you come over and we'll have a laugh here, even if it's only for a couple of nights. I don't think round here could cope with more than a couple of nights. Anyway, it was a lovely 2 nights, lovely 2 days, and that was Benidorm. So anyway, one of the videos on that I got up later from that show was of a woman saying, "I hate being called cis. I can't stand the term." And I've thought about this for quite a while anyway, and it's the first time I've probably mentioned on one of these videos. But why do we call people cis women? Now, cis has been around a long time. I believe it's Latin. Cis means um, born female and is identifying as a female, or born male and identifies as a male. And it has been around an awful long time. This woman said, "I don't like being called cis." Now, the first thing I'll say is cis is not a derogatory term. Cis is to differentiate between people who were born one gender or sex and identifies as that, and that's not a problem. But what we have is a two-tier system in which the people like us are saying we were born one and we're now another. In fact, we're not now another, we've always been another, but what's happened is we've now grown into what we are from birth, and we've been forced into being male for most of our lives and are now realizing and walking out into the public view as being female, and that is not that is because they're differentiated. Now, if women were all called women, including trans women, there would be no need for the term cis, and therefore there wouldn't be that woman coming on and doing a video saying, "I don't like the word cis." There wouldn't be need for it because we're all women. So the only reason you have that term cis is because you decide to differentiate between this two sets of women, women born women and are identifying as women, and people who are born men and identify as women. Two different things. So it's quite sad. And I look at other things that are similar. For example, people come on and complain about biological sex. And the IOC ruling says biological sex is someone that was born one sex and identifies as sex through their life. And they are the ones that are allowed to participate in the Olympics. Of course, they also say about toilets and other spaces as they call it, female spaces, identify the same all through your life. But biological sex, that definition is really, really old. And science moves on, unbelievably. In 100 years, science has moved on. And if I would bet that if someone looked at my DNA and my full biological makeup, they would see something inside me that pushes me and has made me female. And that's not my fault that I was born one and I identify as another. and identify. I hate the word identify, but I feel female all the way through. And the fact that I spent over 50 years just trying to act male and trying to fit in, but finding it very, very difficult, never comes into it. The other thing is pronouns. Pronouns. It's amazing how many people say, I don't like to use pronouns. And interestingly, obviously we use pronouns all our lives. We use them every day. And interestingly, when you are given a name at birth, people are forced to use your name. And when they decide not to use your name, it's either in fun or it's derogatory, and mostly. Some people like their nicknames. We've got no problem with that. But most people, their nicknames or what they are called is not what they've decided. One example, for example, I was occasionally, and I've spoken about this before, but occasionally at school I was called a girl because I liked feminine things. I liked football, but I wasn't in the football team, but I played other sports. I enjoyed hockey, but we hardly ever played hockey because that was a girls' sport. And when I played hockey, I excelled at hockey. What happened was, I mean, we're talking back in the 70s now, and whenever it was too wet to play or too cold to play football, we would go indoors to the indoor gym or the hall and play hockey. And I excelled at hockey. But could I get anywhere near a hockey team? No chance. So that was me. And yet I've been excluded from that all my life. They also talk about mental illness. If we are mentally ill, how come just by treating us as we are, it's cured? Treating us as women cures our mental illness. In this world, if we go on hormone therapy, if we have surgery, or if we go out and socially transition, we feel so much better for it. That's not mental illness. That's a cure. That's society being a problem, and we're adapting to what we want, not what you want, what we want. The other one that comes out is bathroom safety, and again, we've talked about this many times. But bathroom safety, toilets, it's ridiculous. I saw a post on Facebook this week of someone who went to Belgium, and they said they went in 2 bars, and in each bar there were 5. Well, in one there were 5. That's the one I remember. There were 5 cubicles for toilets, all separate, individual, and people went in and came out. I went to a party over the weekend, and the men's and the females' toilets, there was one toilet in each. In the women's toilet, there was a woman's cubicle. In the men's toilet, there was a men's cubicle. Now, if you just put toilet on each one, what would the difference be? The big difference there was a big queue outside the women's toilet, and there was no queue outside the men's. So who's it excluding? This bathroom, so-called bathroom ban, this so-called bathroom issues, all they do is exclude women. And I often wonder why women support this, because it's them, it's and all of us. It's women, it's me, it's everybody that is caused issues by a bathroom ban. And to talk about safety is ridiculous. I went to Finland last year to see a band, lucky enough, and in the men's queue, I would estimate pushing for half of the queue were women, because the women's queues were so long, and the women were using the men's toilets, and that's never an issue for some reason. So why is the bathroom thing such an issue? The other one was trans women are men, and the IOC ruling. You go on X, I call it Twitter because it's just what it is. Facebook, Twitter, and people comment and people go, yeah, but it's men, it's men, it's men, and you think, why are you calling us men? And I often think, and I've not no concrete evidence to think that, but men, people who call us men, called us girls when we were at school. That point I made earlier about, oh, you're a girl, now they're saying, oh, you're a man. And it's a derogatory comment. It's about It's about erasing us. It's about getting rid of us, and it's an insult. Whereas cis isn't an insult. Cis is to identify. It's you've decided that some trans women aren't included in women. So cis separates cis from trans. It's what you wanted, and now you're complaining that we call you cis. But no, we if we're all women, it's not a problem. Um, and the only people it harms are women. It harms women. I've said it again. I keep saying this, but 90% of attacks on women are caused by people they know, and mostly men they know, and men who are in the home. And it's not to say all men are like that. It's not at all, because most of the men I know are good, honest, loving, and would never think of harming a woman. But where do those predators come from? They are men, and they've never had to dress up. They've never had to go through we do, take hormone therapy, some of us operations, some of us to have stuff to get rid of our facial hair, go through all that, plus the ridicule, plus the harassment, plus being excluded from everything, just to get access to a woman's toilet. How ridiculous is that? I've been fitted for bras in women's shops, and nobody gives a toss. Nobody cares. Nobody's interested. And the people that are doing this are hiding behind the keyboard. And when you look at social media, it's people on the extreme who get the interest. People who are extreme are pushed to the top of the list and are pushed out there. Now, I went to Benidorm, and it's a very interesting place. It's very, how can I put it? Well, you know what it is. It's parties. It's men getting drunk in football shirts. It's stag parties. It's hen do's. It's women getting drunk in football shirts. It's everybody. Yet in 2 nights, I didn't get the odd shout, but most of it was it was just a bit of a laugh, you know. Um, and we never got any issues. I went to one of the toilets in this bar. I said talk of the town, and you got 4 cubicles, and there were about 5 or 6 waiting. I joined them, and they're all having a laugh. They joined me in, and there were no problem. And it's ordinary people that are great. It's the extreme ones behind their little keyboards trying to cause trouble, and that's a bit of a problem, really. That's the problem. And yet when you go on social media, they're the ones you see, and it gives the impression that nobody likes us, when in fact, people come up to us. I could go and sit in the bar on my own, and people come up and start chatting, mainly women don't mind. Women have got no issues, no hang-ups, and I'm generalising here. Got no hang-ups with us, and men will be men, and most of them aren't that. Most of them don't have a problem. Most men don't have a problem with us either. So, so all of this is just it's just a media, a moral panic. I call it a moral panic, in which they've decided to blow something up which isn't important, to take the issue away from something that is. And of course, we've got a war going on, petrol prices, cost of living, everything else, and they have to blame someone, so they'll punch down and blame someone who's got nothing to do with it, and they'll drive that because it takes the focus away from them being useless and not being able to deal with it. So there you go. And they're my opinions, and that's it. So what? It's an opinion. Just a couple of light-hearted things before I go. I've been watching TV a little bit. Again, it'll be UK TV that I've seen, but in general, you get these box sets on the Fire Sticks and everything. ITV have got a new program out. I've got a good call because it's called Celebrity Sabotage. And when you think ITV is a populist channel in the UK, when you think they couldn't get any lower with their programs, they find something, and it's the most awful program you've ever seen in your life. They decided to invent a game show that in which people think they're on proper TV in a proper game show with a proper celebrity running it, and they've got 4 celebrities in the background trying to sabotage them. Now, that might sound okay to you, and then you think the celebrities are. Who did we have? Oh God, GK Barry, Alison Hammond, Joel Domus. I've got no problem with Alison Hammond, by the way. She's very pro LGBT rights. Great, you know. GK Barry came to fame on a reality show. Fine. Joel Domus, I still don't know what he does, although I saw something the other day saying he was a comedian. I've never seen him do any comedy. Maybe he does. He probably does somewhere, but he's not. He's certainly not funny. And somebody put in the reviews that even if you put name badges on these celebrities, you still wouldn't know. Most people watching still wouldn't know who they were, even though they had their names on. It's awful. They have these games in which they are deliberately sabotaged, and some of the sabotage are things like they'll throw dog poo at you, or they'll collapse some glasses, champagne glasses, just as you're getting to the important point. It's awful. But then if you want to watch it and you enjoy it, that's great, you know. But I just something I saw and I just thought, I've got to see this because they're pushing it like mad. And I thought, I'll have a little look. God, it's bad. It's basically a cheap, rubbish Jeremy Beadle's about. And I don't know, some of you older people like me will know about Jeremy Beadle's about, where they set up people in a hidden camera and set them up with tricks. And that going back even longer, when I was a kid, we had candid camera, which was the absolute best and the absolute the absolute ultimate. They do things like they got took an engine out of a car, and the petrol station was at the bottom of a hill, and they pushed the car down the hill, and he'd drive in as if he was driving, pull up at the garage, and say, "My car's not working. Can you help me?" And someone would come out and open the bonnet up, and there's no engine. And they go, "There's no engine." And they said, "No, there must be an engine. I've driven here," and it would completely fox them as well. Well, that's an old one that's probably around about before I was even born. That, but I've seen that numerous times. If you go on YouTube, probably you'll get candid camera and Beatles about. And I thought they were brilliant. They were so funny. But this is just a cheap imitation, and it's not even funny. It's not even amusing. It's not even entertaining. It's awful. But anyway, you watch it, you have a look, you decide, and if it's for you, then great. I just thought I'd give you a TV review. And finally, Hijack. Now, when you got a Fire Stick, you get all these films and box sets and series and everything, and sometimes you pick one that's a couple of years old. Well, this Hijack I caught last week. I think the seven in it, and it's got Idris Elba in it, and it's almost a real time program. So it's basically an aeroplane takes off and it gets hijacked. There, that's the name. I'm not going to give spoilers away because I'm going to say watch it because it's worth watching. It's quite good, but it's over 7 series and the flight is around 7 hours, or 6 or 7 hours. So you could say it's in real time. You know what I mean? So that you know, and it's really good. It's got a really good outcome, and it's one of those ones you want to see the next one. And I'm told there's 2 series in it. The downside is everyone I've seen or read about that's seen the second series says it's absolutely awful. So I don't know whether I'm going to give it a chance. Other people have said don't bother. Other people have said, well, give it a go, but I thought it was awful. So, but anyway, I thought I'd tip the head. I'm still waiting for Tulsa King to come back. Tulsa King's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's really funny. I think is it supposed to be serious? I don't think it's supposed to be serious. It's quite funny. It's got Sylvester Stallone in it, and you've got to give it a go. They're short episodes, 35 to 40 minutes, and I can't remember how many series there's been. I think there's been 3 series now, but they're filming another one at the moment. And I've always loved Sylvester Stallone since the Rocky films. I absolutely love them. And when I found out he was an Everton supporter, then that was it for me. Rocky, Sylvester Stallone forever. But that's another one. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's brilliant. Tulsa King, it's called. I don't know what it's on. We just get on the Fire Sticks, probably Netflix or something. Anyway, I'll just close by saying when we were out with Nikki in Benidorm with Penny, I'll put a few photographs on at the end of this. So if you hang around to the closing credits, I'll put our photographs of us in Benidorm. They're not particularly exciting. It's just us sat there at a bar, sat there in the hotel, a couple of me on my balcony. I was in a single room. I had the smallest balcony in the world with one little tiny table and one little plastic chair. The video at the start, if I can manage to get it on, shows me standing on the balcony doing an introduction to this. And that's it really. So thank you for watching. Again, I'll remind you to click a like for me, please, and subscribe. I'm hoping to do these every week. I want to do these every week. Sometimes time's an issue, but I really want to do these quite often and keep people updated. And if you've got any ideas, if you've got things I want to talk about, it doesn't matter what it is, opinion on this or whatever, just put it in the comments and I'll do it for next time. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. So from Carla, good night and enjoy the rest of your week.